Candice Johnson is the owner of But I'm Not a Critic Though, or BINAC, a platform that cultivates positive music perspectives created and influenced by people of color. The platform features a blog, playlist, artist spotlights, and the annual Glow Up Festival. Candice's goal to promote up-and-coming artists, as well as connecting them to growth opportunities, has proven to be a success. You can find out more at butI'mNotAcriticThough.com.
Well, thank you, Candice, for coming back on and catching up with me. I'm really excited to find out what's been going on with But I'm Not a Critic Though, BINAC.
I'm so happy.
You took a little hiatus there for a minute last year. Now that you're back, what are some of the goals of BINAC?
The hiatus was amazing, first of all. It was 6 months of, I won't say uninterrupted, but it was like 6 months of just figuring it out and, kind of trying to realign my vision. And it was great. And now that BINAC is back, first of all, the vision hasn't changed per se. It's just been tweaked and kind of honed a little bit. And so before, whereas our mission was like promoting positive music perspectives and opinions, that is still the same. But what BINAC is striving to do is kind of curate and cultivate healthy and intellectual conversations about music. So it's basically just having a healthy discourse around music coming out, not necessarily all new music, but just a healthy discourse around music in general. So your favorite artist, or maybe even your favorite genre, whatever you're listening to, being able to talk about that, not only positively and with passion, but talk about that with other people who are just like you, or maybe have the same love for music as you. So with that kind of restructuring, it feels a lot, not necessarily lighter, but I've always been excited about BINAC, but I'm really excited about it because I'm really ready to hear other people have opinions about music, because previously it was kind of independent and underserved artist focused. And I'm ready to kind of hear more about the consumers and the people that consume, because it's just cool. And sometimes we don't ever really get that perspective. Again, we always hear from, I am a writer, or I'm a journalist, and I've been doing this for XYZ years, and I've been on tour with this person. And like, you hear that perspective. But you don't hear like how music changed, young 19-year-old me's life when I was getting to know new artists, something like that. So it's just a different perspective that I wanted to tackle, but it still encompasses what I've always wanted BINAC to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like a wider audience, but it's the same focus.
Right.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. So are there any other changes, or that would be?
So it'll be my 5th anniversary. It'll be BINAC's 5th anniversary this year. And I'm not doing another big show.
Okay.
Which
I was going to ask you about Glow Up.
I look at the video all the time and I'm like, wow, like I did this 3 years in a row and it was amazing. I'm not doing another big show like that, but I am working on something for the anniversary, and I can't say what it is. It's going to be really, really different. But if you like get back with me in maybe even a month, I'll come back and I'll plug it and announce it and all that stuff, and it'll be really fun. But I'm just doing something different, because not only does that cost tons of money, but I also wanted to be able to do something a little bit different, and that fits in more with the realigned vision of BINAC. And so as much as it's fun, like as much as Glow Up would be fun and really, really huge, it doesn't necessarily fit with what the kind of renewed vision is anymore. So I'm doing something that fits more into that vision.
Gotcha. So you're just teasing us.
Yeah, a little bit. I promise it's gonna be exciting, because even when I was like taking a break, I was kind of deciding on how I wanted to approach this. And I think the idea that I've come up on is really, really, I think it's a really good idea, and I can't wait to share it. But I just want everything to be ironed out before I'm completely and
All
announce it.
right. So you're just teasing us, and we will have to catch up with you again so you can do your plug. But
Well, I was actually just kind of waiting for you to get closer to me, so maybe you could come. No, I'm just kidding. That's exactly what I was doing. It was all planned.
we'll get back to you on that.
It was all planned.
So last time we talked, we were talking about, growing Binact into new ventures. So kind of like what you discussed, but then also talking about like doing more video content. Have you considered still doing that?
I'm glad you asked. I am in I feel like I've been saying I'm working on video content for like forever. But I actually I really am working on video content. In my Amazon cart I have this like phone stand for me to record because and I think like even with you the way that you do this, I think I'm gonna even start doing on my laptop, just my laptop webcam video until I can get, like a better camera. But I'm just gonna start doing it off the cuff. It's very crippling to think about new things because I can announce here that Binac is working on launching its own Twitter. So currently right now Binac runs on Twitter runs through me, Candice. So any content that you see, it's like, here's me talking about my milkshake I had today, and like here's me, maybe doing something for another, like the other company I work for, and then here's Binac content, which it worked previously because people knew Binac for me, and that's great. But it kind of works, and people who are interested in what I have to say normally also come for Binac too. But one of the members on my team, Adrian, was kind of like, you have to do something that like pushes you and scares you. You're comfortable here. So the next step would be to kind of separate this. Like you did that with Instagram, and I did Instagram 2 years ago, but I split them. It's been working great. And so it was time to make that next step. But the reason that Binac kind of crippled me and scared me so much is because I was trying to see what Binac's voice was like without me. Like, so if I take a step back, what does Binac sound like? And I learned that they're very similar. They have very similar voices, but Binac does need its own voice. It now cannot just be me speaking for Binac all the time. Binac needs to be able to speak for itself. And I need to be able to speak for myself. So we're launching Twitter. I don't want to give a date because I don't want to. You don't want to
have it like on a
we're
recording, but
sometime in April. So sometime in April is when you see that come. And so of course, like shameless plug, if you're a Twitter person, come over and join us. I love Instagram for like certain interactions, and I've gotten pretty decent at posting a little bit of pictures or like doing things here and there. But Twitter is kind of where I shine and thrive, and that's where I built Binac and like built my platform. So I'm ready to get back over there when like after having an established voice. And then with video, like I said, it's going to be very off the cuff. I watch a lot of Twitch streamers, and I watch a good bit of YouTube. I wanted to feel comfortable. So even with like certain things, like with editing, initially it's just really going to be like probably some talking, rambling, just chatting to really feel comfortable and kind of like get to know what these like check-ins and like video, they'll be like video check-ins or, not podcasts, but like just, like kind of bits of video for people to be interested. And once I get over the initial fear of being in front of the camera and kind of maneuvering with video, then I think it'll get better. But I just have to take the leap and say, okay, I'm going to do it. It's going to get done. So actually look forward now that I can give a date on. Look for those videos towards the end of the month because I've been plotting just a first like, hey, what's up video. So that's definitely coming up end of the month.
Oh no. But it's funny. With like, I mean, me doing this, video series, it's not like I have any type of video recording, editing experience, and yet like, I can create these types of videos. So I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. IGTV is actually, and I'm actually going to start changing up some things even with the series in terms of putting it up on IGTV.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of foolproof, you know. I mean, it's slightly glitchy, but overall, it's pretty foolproof. I mean, there's no, unless you want to make something super stylized, which, you know, for Binac maybe you would make something a little bit cleaner, you know. I don't know. If you said off the cuff, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you try it out and then down the road if you want to start doing some more intros and maybe some segues and stuff, making things a little bit more streamlined. It's a good, I mean, I love IGTV. I'm like, there's so much out there that's good. I mean, there's content out there that's not great, but it's something that you,
especially because it's built into Instagram too. So like it's built in the platform, so it's pretty easy to use.
Mm-hmm. And also with Twitter, and I'm not the biggest Twitter person, but they have Twitter Live, right? You can do Twitter Live streams.
Used to be called Periscope, or they bought Periscope, and that's like they have Twitter Live too.
Okay, and then there's Instagram Live as well, which I know you and Nora have spoken on that. Mm-hmm. Can you save those videos once you
You can only save them for an hour, which is the thing. So it stays up like on your story, and it acts as a story. So it's like and you can see the whole live thing, but then it goes down, and you can't even. Now that's the one part that I don't like. You can't save it after that, like after it's gone. It's just,
like, it's funny because I've noticed that people don't do anything with it after. So I was wondering
because you can't save it. Kind of stinks, but.
Or you could find out a way how to save it. That'd be kind of cool. But you gotta I mean, you I feel like now there's so many options that like, you could play around with different things and see what works and see where you get like a lot of, you know, feedback and a lot of interaction. Mm-hmm. You know, that's
truthfully the platforms, and that's why I had kind of slowed down. All the platforms have a different audience, which is so crazy. But it's like, you know, like Facebook, like I essentially use, Binac does have a Facebook page, but I essentially use Binac's Facebook page to just be like, grandma that loves to support me here, like, you know what I mean? Like, there are people there that do follow me for it, but I kind of use it as that because that's what it's for. Like I know there are younger people that use Facebook, but I don't use that platform in that way because it also takes up too much effort. There's no way that I know how to speak. Like, it's kind of like Dobris, like a three-headed dog. Like I don't know how to speak three different languages on different platforms. So I'm going to focus on one. Like I focused on Instagram, and then maybe I'll get better. I've gotten okay at Instagram, and then I'll get better at the next one. And then maybe I'll get better at Instagram and then get better at the next one. But I will not be trying to simultaneously talk three times, at least not yet, because it's just me. If I were, you know, a mega corporation like Macy's, I was just thinking about like, you know, big, you know, people that can have multiple social media managers or what, like, you know, then that'd be different. But since I don't have that right now, I gotta make do with what I got.
It's hard because it's like you said, you wish you had like one size fits all. It's not that easy. Although I think if
the website is for, but then you have to just speak on social media, right? Like, yeah, the website would be one size fits all, but that's if people were still predominantly using websites, which they don't just solely use websites anymore. So
yeah, that's the issue with that. But so switching gears a little bit, what trends should we expect this year in terms of music and artists? And I know it's a loaded question.
It's early in the year, but what I'm noticing is that, first of all, album rollouts don't really happen anymore for I'll say mainstream artists. Album rollouts do not really happen anymore. For instance, now the, you know, large fandom and stan base might come for me, but Lil Uzi Vert dropped his album. I believe it was a surprise drop. Like, he didn't drop his album. We knew it was coming, but I don't think we ever had an official release date. Don't quote me on that because I'm not like the hugest fan, so I could have just missed it. But there are people, so of course there are people who are like, my album's coming out here, or my album's coming out there. Mm-hmm. Meg Thee Stallion also just had, like, she was back and forth with her label, and then she just turned around and dropped her album. So, like, artists will, I mean, you know, of course, Beyonce did it first. Beyonce did it best. But, like, people really are dropping their albums, like letting people run the streams up and then like, you know, going on tour, which is fine. That's not really an issue. But to me, it's a little shocking because then you get basically like you get these release days. So like a lot of music releases on Fridays. You get release days where there's 10 or 12 artists dropping at once. So about trends, I think you're going to see a trend of, because people are very selective with what they listen to. I think you're going to see people be even more selective with what they listen to because the drop list are 10 or 12 albums deep every Friday. So
yeah,
I know people, and I'm not even a person that does that. I'm not listening to all 10 of those albums on Friday. It's a blessing if I get through all 10 of the albums, period. Like if I get through all 10 of the albums. People are still going to more and more pick their favorite artist. Run with your favorite artist.
Candice, we can't hear you. You have to say, and I think your thumb might be on the.
When could you stop hearing me? Can you hear me now?
I would say the last two sentences you said, if you want to re-say them, and then we'll redo it.
Yeah.
Because you were, it got blurry for a second, and then it was like, I'm like, okay, but then you came back, and then you reshifted like your phone. I was like, oh, do I get? I think your thumb or something might have been blocking your. So you would say like the last two sentences, if that makes any sense.
I can sum it up. So basically, I think the trend is going to be seeing people still kind of stick with their favorite artist and run with them. But even more so because, again, drop lists are getting so long that even the maybe somebody would have branched out to a new artist because maybe if there were 3 people that dropped on the same day, maybe you would listen to your favorite artist and say, hey, I'll try this other guy out because they dropped on the same day too. Because drop lists and things are getting so long and people, of course, just like, hey, I'm dropping, here are the streams, check me out. I think people are going to even be more in their bubble. And what I'm hoping BiNext does is we're able to kind of pick and like cultivate all of the different opinions and then kind of have it sum it up for you and say, here, try this new thing. Like you listen, like you, of course, maybe you'll come and see your favorite person. So you came and you're like, oh, I'm interested in my favorite person. And maybe here you'll be able to find somebody new that you wouldn't have listened to on the regular, but you see a couple people that really like that person. Like you see how much they love that person. So maybe you want to give it a try too. Again, like cultivating that conversation where people will more and more become, even though all of the music is accessible, there are lots of music, like lots of songs on streaming services. Even though the music is accessible, that does not mean everybody's going to try and check out new music. So in my opinion, I think people will definitely get more and more kind of locked in their bubble. And I personally would like to broaden everyone's avenues little by little. So if that's something I can do, I'd like to be able to do it.
So I have one final question for you. How close are you to publishing your book?
Oh, God. Oh my God!
Come on, amongst everything else going on in your life right now.
Away from that question. Last year was supposed to be the year that I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be done and I'm gonna publish it. I really think that this year, instead of like giving myself, that's a lofty goal, and I still want to publish it, but I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my book in short story form. So I'm gonna basically do an excerpt. That was one thing that I did put I give myself a goal to do is, or at least write an excerpt about my characters and like kind of put it into a short story, maybe just a few pages, just to say I did that and to say it was done start to finish. Now, short story, I may publish in a journal or I may do something or I might post it somewhere. But I at least want to say that by the end of 2020, I'll have 2 drafts. I want to rough draft I want to finally finish and rough draft once, and I'll rough draft again. That's what I really want to do. Because I've had last November, I participated in NaNoWriMo And every nano is really, really difficult because for some reason November comes and like work is busy or like just things really fall
Yeah.
out of the sky in November for some reason. I don't know. But I'm really giving myself like a goal to at least get my 2 drafts by the end of this year and move closer to it. There are some people, like I've seen some people who are like, yeah, I wrote my entire book in like a week. I just locked myself in a room and I wrote my book and then I drafted it. And I don't know how they do it. I think it's great. I
Like,
just don't know how they do it at all. Um, but I do want to get it out because I'm super excited and happy to do it. And again, I think a part of it is just like nervousness because I've at least edited my first like 5 or 6 chapters numerous times. I've done this and I've kind of had these 6 chapters just sitting there, and it's like, okay, well, you can only edit or like look at these six chapters so much. You got to write the rest of the story.
yeah. This will be the year for the first or second draft.
I'm hoping for now. I kind of have to make you like an accountability partner, right? And it's like, all right, I'm checking in. Did you do anything? Have you moved forward since the last?
That's it. I'm gonna do I don't know, a monthly check-in. That's what I'm gonna do.
Have you started yet?
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much for checking in. We'll have to check in again soon because I want to know what's going on with 5th anniversary.
I will totally let you know. Thank you for letting me come back. I'm super excited to always be able to talk to you, and always thank you for Nora for the connection because she's great.
Yeah, yes. And shout out to Nora. All right. Thank you so much.